All right, so let's dive into something a little bit different today. The Giving Tree, that Shel Silverstein classic.
Hmm.
Yeah, I bet you've got some memories tied to that book. But today, we're not just revisiting the story itself, we're going behind the scenes looking at how it's taught to second graders through a set of lesson plans.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
fascinating.
yeah.
These lesson plans offer a glimpse into how teachers break down these complex themes for young minds. We're essentially stepping into a second grade classroom and experiencing the giving tree through a whole new lens.
Exactly. And what struck me right away was how much emphasis is placed on those classic reading comprehension strategies. Identifying the author's purpose, making inferences, retelling, and summarizing, it's all there.
Yeah, and it makes you realize just how fundamental those skills are, even at such a young age. I mean,
Hmm.
think about it. Asking a second grader to consider why Shel Silverstein wrote this story, that's pretty profound.
It really is. It pushes them beyond just understanding the plot. It makes them grapple with the author's intentions, with the bigger message behind the tree's seemingly endless generosity.
Right, and that leads to some really interesting discussions about the nature of selflessness and sacrifice.
Oh,
You
yeah.
remember how you interpreted those themes as a child?
Honestly, I probably just focused on the surface level. The tree giving, the boy taking. It wasn't until I was much older that I started to consider the more nuanced aspects of their relationship.
I think that's natural for a lot of people.
Yeah.
These comprehension strategies, they're tools that help us unlock those deeper layers of meaning over time.
Right. Like with making inferences, for example, the lesson plan actually asks kids to infer how the tree feels when the boy grows up and takes everything from her. It asks them to look at the illustrations, read between the lines, and understand emotions that aren't explicitly stated.
Yeah, and that's a powerful skill to develop, not just for reading, but for life in general. Being able to pick up on subtle cues, understand unspoken feelings, that's crucial for navigating relationships and the world around us.
Absolutely. And these lesson plans, they weave these skills into the story so seamlessly. I was particularly intrigued by the vocabulary activities.
Oh, yeah.
They focus on words like shade, stump, and trunk, words that are simple on the surface but carry a lot of symbolic weight in the context of the story.
That's a great observation. Those word choices aren't accidental.
Yeah.
They underscore the theme of loss of the tree, literally diminishing as she gives more and more of herself to the boy.
It's like Shel Silverstein is using language to subtly reinforce those deeper themes, even at a level that young children can grasp. And speaking of language development, these lesson plans also incorporate activities focused on consonant blends, using words directly from the giving tree to practice that skill.
It's all about connecting those foundational elements of reading to the actual experience of reading a story. And they're doing it in a way that's engaging and hands-on. I imagine those second graders are having a blast with those activities.
Oh, me too. Remember those vocabulary card games we used to play in school?
Yeah,
It's a classic for a reason. It makes learning new words fun and memorable.
it's smart teaching. They're not just throwing information at these kids, they're creating a learning environment where those concepts can really sink in and become part of their understanding of the world. And that's where things start to get really interesting because these lesson plans aren't just about teaching kids to read the Giving Tree. They're about equipping them with a set of tools to analyze any text they encounter.
It's like they're being given a decoder ring for the world of literature.
Exactly. And one of the most interesting tools in their arsenal is that idea of questioning the author's purpose. Imagine a classroom full of second graders debating why Shel Silverstein wrote this story, grappling with the ambiguity of the tree's sacrifice.
That's a powerful image. It makes you wonder how those early encounters with literature and the way we're taught to approach it shape our interpretations as adults.
It's a fascinating question, and these lesson plans, they provide a window into that formative process.
They really do. We're seeing how those fundamental skills, making inferences, analyzing authorial intent, are introduced and nurtured in those early years.
And those skills, they lay the groundwork for a lifetime of critical thinking and engagement with the written word. It makes you appreciate the profound impact that teachers can have, shaping young minds and fostering a love of learning.
Absolutely. Speaking of teachers, these lesson plans also include a running record assessment. It's a way for them to evaluate each student's reading fluency and comprehension in a structured way.
And that reflects a broader trend in education towards data-driven instruction. Teachers are increasingly expected to track student progress and make adjustments based on that data.
It's like a feedback loop, constantly refining the learning process. And to ensure that everyone's on the same page, these materials are aligned with Common Core State standards for second grade.
So we're seeing how those national standards translate into actual classroom activities. It's a fascinating glimpse into the structure and intentionality behind what might seem like a simple story.
When we first started talking about these lesson plans, I wasn't sure what kind of insights we'd uncover, but I'm already amazed by the depth and complexity they reveal.
Me too.
Mm.
We're seeing the giving tree in a whole new light, and it's sparking some really interesting conversations about education interpretation and the power of literature to shape young minds.
It's like we've stumbled upon a hidden curriculum within the story itself, and I can't wait to delve even deeper into these lesson plans and see what other gems we uncover.
Yeah, it really is amazing how something as seemingly simple as a children's book can spark such a wide range of questions and insights.
I know, right? And it makes you wonder if Shel Silverstein himself envisioned these kinds of discussions when he wrote The Giving Tree. Did he anticipate that teachers would be using his work to introduce such complex concepts to young minds?
That's the beauty of great literature, isn't it? It has the power to resonate on multiple levels, speaking to different readers in different ways. And those interpretations can evolve over time as we gain new experiences and perspectives.
It makes me think back to my own experience reading The Giving Tree as a child. I'm curious, did you have a strong reaction to the story when you first encountered it?
Yeah, I remember being both touched and a little bit troubled by the tree's selflessness. It sparked a lot of questions in my young mind about the nature of giving and receiving. And those questions, they stayed with me long after I finished the book.
I can relate to that. It's a story that sticks with you even if you don't fully grasp its complexities at first. And that's what makes these lesson plans so fascinating. They're providing a framework for young readers to engage with those complexities, to start asking those big questions about relationships, sacrifice, and the meaning of true generosity.
And they're doing it in a way that's developmentally appropriate,
Yeah.
breaking those big ideas down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Think about the activity where they ask students to retell the story in their own words. That's a classic comprehension strategy, but it also serves another purpose.
It forces them to process the information, to make sense of the narrative in a way that's meaningful to them.
Exactly. And in doing so, they're internalizing those key themes and making connections to their own lives and experiences.
And those connections, those personal reflections, they're what make learning truly stick.
Absolutely. It's not just about memorizing facts. It's about making those facts relevant, about weaving them into the tapestry of their own understanding of the world.
And these lesson plans, they're like expert weavers guiding those young minds through the process. We've talked a lot about the comprehension strategies and the deeper themes, but there's another aspect of these lesson plans that I find really impressive.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say. The way they integrate those foundational reading skills so seamlessly.
You got it. It's not just about analyzing the story, it's about building those fundamental blocks of literacy. We talked about the consonant blend activities, but they also have a whole section on sight words using key vocabulary from the book to reinforce those essential building blocks of reading.
It's a brilliant approach, really. They're taking these abstract concepts like phonics and sight words and grounding them in the context of a story that's already capturing these kids' imaginations. It's learning by stealth in a way.
And it's so effective. Remember those times in school when a concept just clicked because it was presented in a way that was fun and engaging? These lesson plans are full of those aha moments.
Yeah, it makes you wish you could go back and experience the giving tree through the eyes of those second graders armed with these insightful tools and activities.
I know. It's like they're being given a treasure map guiding them to discover the hidden depths of this seemingly simple story.
And they're developing a love of reading along the way. By making the learning process interactive and enjoyable, these lesson plans are nurturing a lifelong passion for literature.
It's like planting a seed that will continue to grow and blossom long after those second graders have moved on to other books and other adventures.
And that's the ultimate goal of education, isn't it? To equip individuals with the knowledge, skills, and passion to keep exploring, keep learning, keep growing throughout their lives.
It really is. Going through these lesson plans has given me a newfound appreciation for the thought and care that goes into crafting a truly effective learning experience.
It's clear that a lot of expertise and passion went into creating these materials. They're not just worksheets or dry exercises. They're carefully designed tools for unlocking the magic of literature and fostering a love of reading.
And that's a gift that keeps on giving. It's like the tree in the story offering its resources to nurture and inspire generations of readers.
It's a beautiful analogy, and it makes me think about the enduring power of the giving tree. This book was first published in 1964, yet it continues to resonate with readers young and old. What do you think accounts for its lasting appeal?
I think it taps into something universal about the human experience. The desire to give and receive love, the complexities of relationships, the sacrifices we make for those we care about, these are themes that transcend generations and cultures.
That's so true. And those themes, they're not always easy to grapple with. But the Giving Tree provides a framework for exploring them, even for young children. It sparks conversations, raises questions, and encourages us to think more deeply about our own relationships and the ways in which we give and receive.
And these lesson plans, they're like a guidebook for navigating those complex emotions and ideas. They're giving young readers the tools to not just understand the story, but to connect with it on a personal level.
And those personal connections, those moments of insight and reflection, they're what make reading truly transformative.
It's like we're seeing the story come alive through the eyes of those second graders experiencing its magic anew. And it makes me wonder if there are other hidden gems waiting to be discovered in those seemingly simple children's books that line our bookshelves.
I bet there are. And that's the beauty of exploration, isn't it? There's always something new to uncover, some new perspective to gain, even from the most familiar sources.
It's like a reminder that learning is a lifelong journey, and the best journeys are those that take us down unexpected paths, leading to surprising discoveries.
Just like this deep dive into second grade lesson plans.
Yeah,
Who knew we'd find so much to ponder in the world of the Giving Tree?
right. It just goes to show that there's always more to learn, even from the stories we think we know by heart.
And that learning can be just as enriching and rewarding for adults as it is for children.
Speaking of adults, I'm curious to hear what our listeners think about these lesson plans. Did any of the activities or insights resonate with you?
I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did these discussions bring back any memories of your own experiences learning to read and interpret literature? Share your reflections with us on our social media channels.
Yeah, it's really amazing when you think about it. These lesson plans have taken us on such a journey. We started with a simple children's book, and now we're talking about the complexities of education and interpretation and the power of literature to shape young minds.
It really speaks to the power of stories. The ripple effect that they have. They can touch individuals, they can spark conversations, and they can even influence how we approach learning and teaching.
And those ripples, they can extend far beyond the classroom. I mean, think about the discussions we've had today about selflessness, sacrifice, and the nature of giving. These are themes that resonate with people of all ages, regardless of whether they've read The Giving Tree or not.
Oh, absolutely. These are universal human experiences, and literature provides a powerful lens for exploring them.
And what I find so intriguing about these lesson plans is how they encourage young readers to grapple with those complex themes, to move beyond the surface level and really dig into the nuances of the story.
Exactly. They're being given the tools to be critical thinkers, to analyze and interpret not just The Giving Tree, but any text they encounter in their lives.
It's like they're being given a key to unlock the hidden depths of literature.
And once that door is open, the possibilities are endless.
As we've been talking about these lesson plans, I've been struck by how much emphasis is placed on fostering a love of reading. It's not just about teaching skills and concepts, it's about nurturing a passion for stories and the power that they hold.
Right, and that's so important because when kids develop a love of reading, they open themselves up to a world of knowledge and empathy and imagination.
And that's a gift that will last a lifetime. It's like the tree in the story offering its shade, its fruit, its very essence to nourish and sustain the boy.
It's a beautiful way to think about it, and it makes you wonder, as those second graders are learning to read and analyze The Giving Tree, are they also absorbing some of those deeper lessons about love and generosity and interconnectedness of life?
I think they are because stories have this way of seeping into our hearts and minds, shaping our understanding of the world and our place in it.
Yeah, and those early encounters with literature, they really lay the foundation for a lifetime of learning and growth.
It's like planting a seed that will continue to blossom long after they've left the classroom.
And those blossoms, they spread their own seeds, inspiring new generations of readers and thinkers.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Giving Tree lesson plans, I'm left with a sense of hope and optimism about the future of reading and the power of education to really make a difference.
Me too. It's been a good reminder that even the simplest stories can hold profound truths, and that the journey of learning is one that we can embark on at any age.
And that journey is often most rewarding when we take those unexpected detours, exploring new perspectives and challenging our assumptions.
Just like we've done today.
So, to our listeners out there, we leave you with this. Remember The Giving Tree. Think back to your own experience reading it. Would understanding the author's purpose have changed your interpretation? Would making inferences have revealed new layers of meaning?
These are good questions to think about, not just for this particular book, but for any text that you encounter.
Because when we engage with stories actively and critically, we unlock a world of knowledge and understanding. We become more thoughtful readers, more empathetic humans, more engaged citizens of the world.
And that's a legacy worth striving for.
Well said. Until next time, fellow deep divers, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those minds engaged.